Eric, we have said that we're going to transition. So we're going to transition this show to cover all of Detroit sports. I know it's something that's near and dear to your heart, and it's something that, I'm a basketball guy. I know the game. I played the game a little bit here and there, and I've been watching the game. You can ask some buddies, get me on the court. I'll show you a thing or two here or there. But I haven't watched the NBA in a long time. Specifically, haven't watched the NBA in a long time since the Detroit Pistons traded away Mr. Big Shot. That was
Still hurts. Still
yeah, it
hurts.
still hurts. Even talking
Still
about it today, I'm still, like, getting choked up about it. But
doesn't
the
feel
Pistons
good.
have a young team, right?
Indeed. Mhm.
And a team that people thought could be a lot better than they actually have been to start the season. So, like, how bad are the Detroit Pistons? Even though they're young, and
They're
what's wrong with them, for crying out loud?
Yeah, they're bad. They're bad in a lot of different ways. They're bad and kind of similar to the Lions, they're really inexperienced. So, and also a big problem that they're dealing with is they're really undersized. So we'll kind of take it point by point. They
So
have a
undersized.
Yes, so they have a lot of young players that over the next few years you should see some really, promising futures for them. Cade Cunningham, who I think is going to be a breakout superstar. Jaden Ivey, who I think is a great complementary piece next to Cade Cunningham. Sadiq Bey, who can be inconsistent, but he still has shown the ability to be a complementary scorer.
Yeah.
Jalen Duren, the center that they just traded up for from Memphis, who I'm super, super, super high on. He's
Yeah.
returning from injury tonight. I really hope he's started into the starting lineup soon because, like I just said, on top of their inexperience, they're super small. And that was a problem they had last year. Their starting front court is a bunch of guys that are 6'8" and smaller. So they're getting abused in the paint on rebounds. They're letting up so many paint or points at the rim to guys like Giannis. Like they've been playing a lot of inexperienced, or they've been playing a lot of experienced big teams through these first 10 games. And they've been just getting embarrassed, really, just to put it frankly. But again, if you were expecting the Pistons to be a playoff team this year, you had your sights up way too high. They'll be good in the future, but just not right now.
I think Maximilian and I've watched about 90% of their games this season, okay?
Okay, okay.
And we've even been texting about it off air, right? When you play bad defense and you are not good enough in the shooting category
Mm-hmm.
to cover for that bad defense, you're not going to win many games in the NBA. You doggone let Kevin Love go for 1,000,000 points and how many assists the other night? You lost to the Cavaliers without their best player, and maybe even 2 players, if I'm not mistaken, right? Weren't
Two
they were
best
bo
players,
yeah, like, their top
Garland
2
and
players
Mitchell.
were both on the bench, like, for load management or whatever that term is nowadays, but the and you let Kevin Love, like, a shell of himself, Kevin Love, come off the bench and do what he did
Almost
the
had a
other
triple
night.
double off the bench.
Yeah, like, that's just bad defense. And I can't listen, I'm an old school basketball guy, right? Like I am not a huge fan of this like chuck and duck 3-point league that everything is becoming, right? Like,
That's it. That's
oh,
it.
we
Yeah.
have a 3-on-1 fast break. Let's pull up from the top of the key, right? Or
Mhm.
like you're Giannis stepping out for a 3-pointer when he should, when he should be driving the lane. But the amount of times that I have seen a rebound hit the ground is indefensible.
Horrible.
So is Dwayne Casey the problem?
He's a part of the problem for damn sure. He's a part of the problem because the Pistons play again. They're not playing to their strengths because they don't have a lot of size right now due to injury. But outside of that, the defensive philosophy and offensive philosophy he has are terrible. If you see their offense, it's just hey Cade, ISO at the top. See if you can maybe kick it to Bojan for a three. Hey Jaden, try to see if you can get this, ISO off of this horrible screen from Beef Stew, and maybe you can get a layup or a dunk or a kick out. It's not working. He has no offensive creativity that's been shown so far. And then defensively, I think it's been terrible because if you look at what they're doing defensively, they switch everything. That's another thing that you probably won't like about the NBA right now. They switch everything instead of sticking to their man and trying to not play against a mismatch. If you're
Yeah.
already undersized, and you're inexperienced, you're putting your guards in positions where they have to foul and defend against guys that are bigger than them. And that's been a problem all season. So again, we've talked about possibly firing Dan Campbell and some other coaches. I'm not going to hop on that train yet, but Dwayne Casey's on a hot seat. He needs to start making some adjustments within the next 10 to 15 games because what's happening and working for them now is not it. It's been bad.
Why? Here's what I don't understand. And maybe some of the fans in the comments can help me understand this. And maybe you can help me understand this too. I do not understand the love-hate relationship
With who?
with Cade Cunningham.
You don't understand the what for Cade Cunningham?
The love-hate relationship that fans in Detroit have with him. How there's
okay.
so many
Talk about
people
that.
that
Talk
are
about
like,
that.
"Oh, we should have drafted this guy, or he's not that good, or what?" Like, that dude's one of the best ball players I have seen in a long time. Wear the red, white, and blue of the Pistons.
You ain't lying.
Can we stop with the whole we should have drafted? Was it Jalen Green? Was that his name?
Jalen
Or
Green,
Evan Mobley?
Evan Mobley, Scotty
okay,
Barnes.
Listen. I understand that Mobley has the size and the ability to create scoring and things like that, but Cade Cunningham is the best young player in the NBA right now.
Listen, no one's a bigger fan of Cade Cunningham than me. On my Twitter bio, I'm Cade Cunningham's anger translator. He's a very mild dude. Like, I'm the one who backs him whenever he's getting back. Because he's a phenomenal all-around player. He has LeBron-like responsibility to the Pistons. And again, it's going to take some time, but I think you're going to see him at his best, his absolute all-star best by the end of the season, because he's shown that flash already, and I think he has all the tools to be great. He's one of the ones for real.
Here's my one criticism, which I'm sure that everybody has said, and this is nothing new.
Of course.
But I need an angry Cade.
Yeah.
I need a Cade that is not trying to delineate, not trying to make things happen for everybody else. I need him to be that dude. Yeah. Let's let Jaden Ivey, let's let the other guys create, and let's let Cade be that dude. You know what I'm saying? There have been a couple times I've been like, Cade, a little passive there, buddy.
Yep.
Let's not make sure everybody's getting involved because they are not you. Right. I know that's not team basketball, but guess what? The NBA is not team basketball. It is ISO and kick. Yes. So let's be that dude, Cade. Let's be that dude.
Especially considering how this roster looks right now. He doesn't have a lob threat. So, last year when they got Marvin Bagley, you saw his passing on high display. He was able to throw lobs and get the big guys involved. He doesn't have that right now. Beef Stew is his biggest big, and he's basically Cade's height. So, I'm with you. There was a point last season where I wanted to see Cade just shoot 100 times a game. At this point, he doesn't need to do that. But with how this team is constructed, he's going to have to be, like you said, more aggressive and realize I'm the man of this team and they're going to go as I go. So I think he's understanding that as the season goes on, and hopefully it wakes up, a turnaround with this team right now because they need it.
All right, before we end this, bold prediction for the rest of the season for the Detroit Pistons.
Bold prediction?
Yep.
Cade Cunningham will be an all-star.
All right.
He'll make the all-star team. He's already in that realm right now, averaging 21, 6 and 6 right now. And he's not playing his best. He still has another year to make. And I think that's the point right now. I don't feel confident about any of the other players at this point. So I'm going to just stick with Cade and say that he's going to be an all-star this year. I think it's going to happen.
Ricky says playing tournament. And I'm going to not go that way.
No.
I'm going to say the actual opposite of that. They end up in the lottery again, and Dwayne Casey doesn't make it to the All-Star break.
And that
may not even be
so
that
hot.
bold.
Yeah, hey, we you on that. That might not be so hot, depending on how this keeps going.